Rick, we're doing a show over here. Could you please leave the rabbit pillow alone?
Getting him ready.
Seriously, this reminds me of the... Have you kids ever seen Peter Rabbit?
I've read Peter
And then I
Rabbit.
said to him, "No, sir, I'm going to put you in a pie, sir."
I don't want to be put in a pie.
Right.
Right.
Takes a lot of courage, you know, because the
Does it?
rabbit's like, he's like this tall, right?
Oh,
He's
and
telling
then
Mr. McGregor, who's like,
Mr. McGregor's
tall.
It's tall.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
All right.
huge.
It does take a lot of courage.
That's scary.
I'm sure that was a scary situation for him.
Yeah.
What has been something that required courage from you of the scariest thing that you've ever done?
Okay, so there was this one time that
Yeah.
I was riding a motorcycle and I was racing against my uncle, right? So, like,
Yeah.
you know, here we are. And we're neck to neck. And all of a sudden, round a corner, and I'm ahead, and bottom of a cliff, just flew right off.
What?
Yeah?
That sounds awful.
Are you laughing?
I'm not laughing.
It was
Hold on.
scary, Rick.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's take this seriously.
Okay, how big was this cliff? Let's back up this.
It was like-
there's not much detail to this
like-
story, Brandon. Like how
It was 50 feet tall.
It was 50 feet.
That's
That's
fif-
like up there.
Yeah. Yes, that's
My
up there.
My point is, okay, let's be honest. And how much courage was required as you were falling off this cliff? You think about that for a second. It's like, oh, I'm gonna muscle up right now as I'm like,
Oh, I believe I can fly. It was like, ah!
yeah, so I think what we're talking about is a different type of scary moment,
Oh.
where it's like a moment that may seem scary to us,
Okay.
but it actually is just requiring courage in order to get through it. It's not that scary of a situation. Going off a cliff is pretty scary.
Yeah, it was super scary.
I think we're talking about other scenarios like spiders. Spiders are scary, right?
Spiders are
I mean,
scary.
I'm scared of spiders from time to time.
I have moments.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but spiders can be definitely scary. But we've all seen that one special parent, come in, super lots of courage, and just
Yeah.
like, Spider, this is not your home. You get up and get out. It's like, and they take care of it, right? Some
Spider
people,
be
they got
gone.
their hand, right? They're just like, bam, got that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
That's
lot of,
real?
That's a lot of courage right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
Yeah, that's not my wife.
That's right.
All right,
All
when
right.
she sees a spider, right, it's like game over, man. Game over. We had one in our house. It was this big. This big.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
This
hold
big,
on.
kids.
I'll get it. I'll get the measurement. Hold on.
yeah.
Hold on.
Almost. Keep
It was that big. It was that big.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
6
all right,
inches.
all right.
All right. So
Sizable spider.
My kids are like, "Mom, there's a spider out in the other room," and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm coming in." She comes in. She's like, "I can handle this. I'm a grown up." And then immediately, boom, and she's like, "Oh no!" And then she's like, darts out. Okay, she's out. All right. Okay. When I come in, obviously I got to do something about it. So
Yeah.
I call
What'd
the
you
spider's
do?
parents and be like, "Hey, he broke into my house unwanted. Get out." Right. All right. So anyways,
Right.
but there are other scenarios like that. It's like, it can be scary, but we've seen other people do it before. So maybe
Right.
it just requires some courage.
Okay.
Right. To realize maybe we can handle the situation like we've seen other people do it. And I think for many of us, something that's definitely scary
Yeah.
is that we think is scary,
Okay.
but maybe not really is sharing God's story with other people. And I think there's a lot of people that would tell you that's a really scary thing to do.
It does. You know what? It does feel like it.
So why is it so scary?
Why? I think, there are lots of reasons why maybe it could be scary, right?
Okay, yes.
So for example, my dad isn't really a believer.
Okay.
And so sharing Jesus' story with my dad, the thing that always scares me a little bit is that, oh man, what's dad gonna think of me, right? And is he gonna laugh at me?
Or is he going to be upset with you?
Or is he gonna be upset with me?
And there's a lot of reasons why we will tell ourselves not to do something that God is telling us to do.
Yeah.
And it requires courage. And it's something that we need to pray for and ask from God to give us.
Right.
Because he wants to give it to us. He wants his story shared, and he wants it shared through us. Who told you originally about Jesus?
Yeah, so So when I was a kid, right? So my parents they weren't church going, right? And so I wasn't even a teenager until I learned really about Jesus. I mean,
Wow.
I kind of knew a little bit, and so my wife actually shared it with me. And then I got to going to a youth group.
Nice.
And so
I love
next
youth
thing,
groups.
Yeah. So me and the youth pastor, we became really good friends. And, he ended up ultimately baptizing me. And obviously, I've never looked back. And it's just, so it's been amazing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was, it took a long time. And one of the things I wish that somebody had shared it with me sooner.
Right. Because it's like the best news that you've ever heard. Exactly. And I bet there were lots of people in your life that maybe would have told you about it, but we don't know what happened there.
But
we'll probably cut that out.
We're going to have to cut that out. Rick, who shared Jesus' story with you?
So my story is probably similar to a lot of people's stories that, I grew up in a Christian home, different from you. And I always knew about Jesus. And I think the thing is, it's not so much a who told me about Jesus, it's who told me why Jesus mattered so much and became the most important thing about my life than just another thing that was in my life.
Right.
And I went to a concert once where I saw a basketball player that I was like in love with.
Bigger
I love
than
this
LeBron?
guy. Oh, he's so much bigger than LeBron. He was Buck Williams is his name. And Buck Williams, he was so famous because he was one of the only basketball players that wore goggles bigger than these. But he played like this always. And so it's like these were his like glasses, and he was not ashamed of the size of his glasses. Man, he was like, Buck Williams, And so here he is. He's on the stage, and this is really powerful. He said the most important thing was Jesus before him being a basketball player. And I'll tell you, that it spoke to me, and it told me like, wait, why is this Jesus guy so important? So I went home that night talking to my dad. And what's crazy is when I came to know Jesus like that for the first time, where he became my Lord and Savior, I remember so much about that night. I remember that it was raining. I remember the feel of the carpet. I remember the way that my dad was telling me the story, and I could feel the love that he was trying to share with me about Jesus. And from that point on, I know that my relationship with Jesus was just so much more different. And it was awesome, and it's amazing. And I realized that, you got to think about this, is that all of our faiths started out with somebody telling us about Jesus.
Right.
And what's cool about that means that I not only was being told about Jesus through Buck Williams, my dad, and other people that I couldn't even maybe remember that had been telling me all along, but now I get to be someone that tells other people about Jesus too. And I have spent a lot of my life as a youth pastor actually getting to tell so many kids about Jesus, and it has been one of the most awesome experiences that I've ever had. And yet, I remember times when it was scary, but I realized that I was the one making it scary, and I just needed to ask God for courage to do it, and that's where it was. Yeah.
Nice. You know what? That reminds me of a verse from the Bible.
Yes.
Do you mind if I share that?
Oh, yeah. I think we should share it with kids. Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why are you asking?
I don't know why I'm asking.
What's Brandon doing?
You know what? I was
like,
trying to be.
Can I just talk to you about the Bible? I hope that's okay.
You're super polite, Brandon, asking whether or not it's
Don't
okay
be
to share
polite.
the
You
Bible.
just be like, hey, let me tell you about the most important
This
thing
is not the
I've
scariest
ever
time
heard.
I've ever shared the Bible with Rick.
Yeah, exactly. No, Brandon, you can't tell me about the Bible. I refuse. Just go.
Building up the courage to share
Well,
this
fine.
verse with you, Rick.
I know, man. Just
Here it
keep
is.
it together. Keep it together.
Matthew 5:13 through 16.
Sweet. Look
now,
it
I'm not
up.
gonna. So Jesus is preaching to the masses. This is
Gotta
his
love
Sermon
it.
on the Mount, and he is talking about you being the salt and the light. What does that even mean, Rick?
Oh, well, he tells us three things in the verses.
Yeah, right.
So he tells us first that we are salt.
Right.
He
Okay.
tells us that we're light.
Yeah.
So these were two about just you.
Right.
And then this one's about everybody.
Right.
Is that we're all a city on a hill.
City on. Yep. It's
City
right
on a
here.
hill. Can't be hidden.
Cannot be hidden. Write this down, Rick. Let your light shine before men that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven.
Yeah, because that's the whole
Did you
point.
get all that?
I got it all. So written on my hand. I won't lose it. All right. So yes, you know what's so cool about being a city on a hill? We are brighter together. Right? It's not
Right.
just one of us sharing Jesus, it's that all of us are sharing Jesus.
Absolutely.
And that's so cool. And that's what he's really talking about. He's talking about that we can share the good news of Jesus Christ with everybody. And when he says, like, we're salt, I mean, that's kind of weird. And
It's kind of weird.
I don't know how many kids are putting salt on their
Mashed
food
potatoes?
nowadays. Yeah, the mashed potatoes or the steak. You got the fries, just put those salt
Hey,
on
whoa!
there.
McDonald's is famous for the salt on their
Yeah,
fries.
but you don't have to. I don't know anybody that's putting salt, extra salt on McDonald's fries. You know what this is missing? A little more salt.
Ooh,
Yeah,
salty.
okay. It's like, all right, so he's taking the salt and he's just like, oh, I'll just put a little extra salt here on these McDonald's fries. Never can have too much salt. All right. But think about it.
Right.
Salt is supposed to make things more.
Tasty.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yum.
It's a spice.
That's right. So if you ever like having that bland food that mom and dad saying,
Yeah.
you gotta eat this. You know what you can do
Right.
is say, Mom, can I get a little salt with
Pass
that?
the salt, please.
Pass the salt, please. Thank you. That can help that broccoli go
Just a
right
pinch.
down. Just a little.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Us as Christians, us as believers of Jesus, that we make things better here on earth.
Saltier.
That we make things saltier, more enjoyable, right? Is
But
that when
better.
people look at you,
Right.
they see something different about you. And they're like, what's different? For some reason, there's something better. You
Right.
You have life.
You have something
You
that
have
I
more
need.
yeah,
Like, why don't I have
why am
that?
I'm missing something that you have. And you know what? You have that answer. And you always give hope for the answer that you have. You tell them it's because of Jesus. That Jesus
I'm
has
a
made
light
that I'm
in
a
this
light.
world.
That's right. And that my life is better because of him. And so we know that we are saltier. We make things taste better. We're also, we're a light. When
We
we're
are
a
light.
light, it shines
Yes.
bright. We can share that Jesus
Light.
is the answer. Yeah, like just a little flash in there. My daughter, she's practicing a Bible verse
Okay.
right now. And yeah, she picks like a verse out of the Bible and she just reads through it
Right.
and keeps going every morning and looking at it again. And she has a verse right now, and if I could remember it off the top of my head, I'd tell it to you right now.
no.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's reading in the car,
'Kay.
and I told her, I said, you know what you're saying, right? These words that you're saying that God made us and we belong to him, Psalms 100. I did it. Noel.
Woo!
And I told her, I said, you know what that is, Noelle? And she says, what? What is it? And I said, it's truth. What you're
Right.
saying is truth. And it's so important. And then I told her, did you know that not everyone knows that it's true that God made them and that we belong to him? And her immediate response to that was, then we have to tell everyone.
Right.
And she started coming up with all these creative ways to like how she could go about that. And she's working on that right now. And I just,
That's awesome.
And you know, there's this little piece of you inside. It's just as a dad, you're immediately just like,
Oh, I know.
it's so amazing.
That's
And
my
it's like,
little-
oh my gosh, I love my daughter so much.
That's
and
my little evangelist.
yeah.
Don't ding me.
you just-
That's a real.
You go preach that word. That's what he meant to say. You go preach that word, Noel. You go tell them about Jesus.
There you go.
And that's
what I meant to say.
That's the real point. Is that we know we're supposed to do this. We want to do it. And
Yes.
we want to be salt. We want to be light.
Light.
But we need that courage. And so, kids, you just pray. Ask God for that courage because
He
I'll tell you
will
what.
be faithful to give it.
He will. And
will.
I know that I need to pray and ask for that too all the time.